What up, you guys? Happy Friday. It's Mike.
It's Rowena.
This is a topic we talked about a lot before, but I want to bring it up again because there's a new petition about what's happening. A lot of people don't know, but China has one of the highest, most amounts of organ harvesting conducted in the world. And this is not conducted by some random organization that's kind of like taking people's organs off the streets or any of those urban legend stuff, but this is like the government-run operation in China.
The government!
Yes.
Is behind all of this.
Yeah, they're taking organs from prisoners. Now, a lot of people want to be like, okay, well, they're taking organs from prisoners. All right, so they're taking organs from murderers, rapists, things like that. Okay,
because in the normal world outside of China, it's usually death row inmates,
right,
who would get their organs taken if they were executed.
Right, but that's after they were executed.
Yes.
Not like this. We're talking about here, when we're saying organ harvesting, we're not even talking about when death row inmates are executed, then their organs were taken out. Yeah. We're talking about live inmates whose organs are taken out because there is a demand. Obviously, like in the US, I don't know the specifics. I'm not in the medical field, but I do know it takes a long time to get an organ.
Months or years.
And sometimes don't
usually years. And
sometimes people don't
and
even...
the waiting list is humongous.
Right. But in China, you can get an organ in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. On a lot of the government hospital websites, they will say, come here, we have, whatever you need, 2 weeks, all you need 2 weeks.
Right.
It's impossible. How is that possible?
And this is something that's not widely covered in mainstream media. It's not. And that's why we talk about this a lot on this channel, because being Chinese and having a lot of family in China and friends in China and having them tell me about some of this stuff is just crazy. What's more insane about what's happening with the organ harvesting trade is that it's not even criminals oftentimes who are getting their organs harvested.
No.
Because in China, it's a country where if you have a different political stance, if you are a Christian, Uyghur, Falun Gong practitioner, you're gonna go to prison. If
you believe in anything that's not the Chinese communist doctrine, you will be in prison.
And this is real. This is real. Guys, if you don't believe what we're telling you, go Google China organ harvesting. Go look it up yourself. We're not trying to sit here and try to like sell something to you and tell you something that doesn't really exist. This is really happening. So these are considered prisoners of conscience, meaning they didn't really commit a crime. They're just they're kind of different. They don't really buy into the whole communist propaganda. And these are the people who are the first in line to have their organs harvested because they are considered the healthier prisoners. They didn't go to prison for drugs or other mental illness or anything like that.
And they usually don't have any diseases like Hep B, which most death row inmates would have.
Right. And some people might be like, well, Christianity, that's allowed in China because there's churches. Well, that's because those are state-approved churches. So all the bishops, all the people who are, the pastors who are in the churches, they're actually government employees. They're employed by the government. And the Bible in China is actually different than the Bible you'll find out here.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
That's why Christian missionaries smuggle Bibles into China. It's not the same Bible. If you go to church in China, fine, okay, that's fine because everything's kind of regulated. Yeah. But if you have a Bible study with a bunch of your friends with real Bibles, you're going to get arrested. And you're going to be considered a prisoner of conscience. And if there's a demand for your organ, you're going to get killed. You will get killed. You will die and have your organs extracted. And some excuse would have been made up. Rowena just died in prison because of
They wouldn't even say anything.
Some riots. And we cremated the body.
Yeah.
That's literally what's happening over there.
This whole practice of organ harvesting and organ donation is very secretive and hush-hush in China. Yeah. So the estimates, this is a very conservative estimate, it's about 60,000 to 100,000 organ transplants within the past few years.
Illegal organ transplants.
And these are very, very conservative numbers. So when Chinese officials were pressed about these questions at, when they meet with the US or with the UN, they would say that no, ever since, 2000 something, we only harvest organs from death row inmates, executed prisoners. But when researchers actually looked into the data, there's less than 2,000 death row inmates that were executed in China. So how does that explain the 60 to 100,000 organ transplants?
Right, and this is kind of crazy because you would think this will be some news that's covered on CNN, NBC, all these major medias, but it's not. No one ever talks about it because of the fear of angering China, right? That's kind of where we stand right now. China has a lot of power over us. I mean, it's just crazy. Can you imagine walking down the streets one day just because you have a different political view? Which actually, if you look at Chinese constitution, it says you have freedom of belief, but you really don't. And you're going to be taken to prison. You didn't do anything. You just have a different mindset. You have a different political perspective. You have a different religious perspective. And then you're in prison. And first of all, it's a horrendous prison. And all of a sudden, you're taken in, you're killed, and your organs sold. And these are not cheap. There's actually a price chart for all these organs. And also, Reporters Without Borders, I don't know if we can find a link for you guys. If we can, we will put it down in the description box. They actually called one of the Chinese hospitals and pretended to be a buyer and spoke to some of the doctors. And they literally commenced the agreement, the selling of the agreement on the phone. And they even said, we are taking organs from healthy Falun Gong practitioners in that case.
Because people know people who practice Falun Gong, they don't smoke, they don't drink, so their bodies are relatively healthier. And people specifically call in for those type of organs. Right.
This is insane. So if we can find it, we'll put the link for you guys. But we're talking about this now because there's a new petition that's going around to the White House. And it's a petition to end the organ harvesting in China. Although China has said, we're not doing any more organ harvesting. That's not happening. No, that's not true. So, and we'll put a lot of information for you guys in the description box.
There's a really great documentary called Human Harvest that does a really good job of explaining everything from you know, the past legislative meetings and all the statistics that you can find it in the documentary.
Right. So although this is not something you hear about a lot in mainstream media, it's something that we're really passionate to talk about because there's a tremendous wrong that is still happening in China, and no one, literally no one, is really reporting on it. And you know, we'll always get a lot of hate from some Chinese viewers from China. Like, what do you know? Like, really, don't trust us. Go look at it for yourself. Do your own research. Nowadays, even people in China, you have VPNs. You know, like go Google China organ harvesting and read up for yourself and see what's really happening over there. Anyway, I hope you guys can support this petition. We'll put the link.
Sign it below.
Yeah, that'd be really
awesome. Share
it
to your friends.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much for watching this video. See you.